Live.
All the way live.
Okay. You're standing?
I am. I'm standing.
Why are you standing?
Because of my stature. It's so beautiful this way.
You want to show your posture?
You gotta have all the weights in the back foot. You gotta lean forward a little bit and turtle out. Get those shoulders back. How's that? Tilt your head.
That's good. Yeah, but you never have to worry about like any sort of double chin because you have the beard.
Well, that's why I grow the beard. Get rid of that shit.
I've got. Yeah, I have to stretch out because I have nothing. I have nothing.
We both wear hats to hide our heads.
All right, so
how's it going?
Good.
You're gonna have to show comments. I'm a little far away from the screen so that I can see you.
Yeah,
just because of the way
got
the
a
new
few
setup
people.
is.
Yeah, Ken's here.
Right on.
Yep, it's been a long time.
Oh my gosh, way too long.
Yeah, we've been trying for months, and our schedules just haven't been together. Justin moved. Tell them about the house.
I moved a lot. We rented the house out in town and moved back out to the cabin, and then got the studio up and running. That took a lot of time. We didn't have internet for a long time, so that made it a pain, at the studio. And now the internet got hooked up a few weeks ago, and finally got the new setup up. I think it's a little cleaner.
Good.
I'm not in the basement like you are. Where are you? You in a closet?
I'm in my office, but it's not the best spot to shoot. I need to do something with the background. I was gonna do it downstairs, in the gym, but I don't have a Ethernet drop down there. I thought I put one in there when I built the house, but I guess I didn't. So I don't have that. And I was worried that wireless would look bad. But last week we tried to do it, but you had technical difficulties.
I could not get my capture card to talk to my new MacBook Pro. It was it just wasn't having it. And then when I did get it to work, I couldn't get it to talk to OBS so that it would look like this. So when I run the setup, it's not like I just plug it into a camera. I need to take a BTS of this and show you. So I'm running off of a cinema camera, and then I got the Ninja running a LUT. And then I'm running on this one, I've got the boom mic here up above me. The only thing that's probably low budget on this are these headphones.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good too. Good. Everything sounds good.
It's not too echoey. I'm worried about the echo a little bit because I'm in a big room. So I'm in the middle of my studio. I got 15-foot ceilings. Anyway, I'll work on that. I got a sound blanket going on this side, but I don't know that it's close enough. There's a few more tweaks I can make.
That's
better.
Yeah, I mean, I've considered I don't know, maybe some panels or something instead of sound blankets. I don't know.
If you're gonna go in your gym though, you're gonna have it's gonna sound good because you got the mats on the floor. Those are deadeners, and then you got
the stuff on the wall.
All the stuff on the wall. Yeah.
I really would rather go down there, but I just have to figure out how to get internet down there. I probably have to. I have a window right there. I could probably drop a cord down and go that way. It wouldn't be that far of a run, actually.
I don't know. So this is a test. I'm running Wi-Fi. I'm running wireless off the laptop.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So we'll see. If it starts messing up, I'll run an Ethernet. But I really wanted to try this wirelessly so that I could kind of move this wherever I wanted in here.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome. I did not. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, have you what's up with fall season? You started?
Oh yeah. You've started. You started about a week before me, didn't you? I started about 2 weeks ago. Haven't had a day off since, and there isn't one in sight till November. So there's that.
Yeah,
but that's good.
I had a rain out today, so that's the only reason why we're able to do that. We've had thunderstorms, and it's all week. So
nice. Yeah, I mean we've got a lot going on. We got a lot of seniors this year so far, and it keeps filling up. And then with the new studio, we've added a few more dates to our calendar just for we've got holiday pictures is what we call them. So, cause not everybody's into Christmas, so we just call them holiday photos. And that way people can get their cards going for the season. If they need to come in, we're going to do a pure white background this year. We've got some pretty cool stuff lined up for that. And then we lost a couple of schools this season, which is, okay, maybe for the better. It's a blessing. Sometimes you just don't realize it. But what we're going to do is add more community photo days, back to school photo days at the studio. And those are filling up too. So what that does is we're picking up a lot of homeschool kids, that don't have the opportunity. So we get requests every year for homeschool kids. And this year we we're able to oblige and then add quite a few dates for them. So.
Well, I hate you lost those schools, but you think your sales are going to suffer from it, or do you think you're going to be able to?
I don't know. Looking back on them, the sales suffered anyway. It wasn't. Sometimes you fight hard to keep a client that isn't worth it, and for other reasons. And I think that the world kind of pushes you in the direction you're supposed to go sometimes. And looking at the numbers from the previous years when it went how it's supposed to compared to when it was a struggle, it just wasn't worth it. So we can make more money doing other things.
Yeah, that's I wonder a lot of times if it's just our ego that we get upset when we lose customers. I have one that we're gonna lose next year, and it's just like every year they come up with a different oh, we want this, they keep adding stuff, and then before long it's like it looks nothing like when you start it,
right?
And it's like, okay, well, you could go ahead and go use that other photographer that's offering all the things, but typically they come back, but at the same point, like we're at the point now where some of them we don't really want them back.
Right. Like if you're not good enough for it and it turns into a struggle, I don't know. It's an ego thing, and I get myself into those problems by, not necessarily communicating the best maybe on our end because we get busy. I think communication's a big deal. And when you don't communicate well, it goes bad fast. And you got to kind of put the blame on you as the owner of your studio, right? That's the biggest thing. If it means the world to you, you'll put extra effort in sometimes. And if it doesn't, maybe you get lazy about it, you're likely to lose stuff. It sucks.
Well, we don't have personal assistants, right? I mean,
right. We are the personal assistant too. I mean, we've got help, right? We have everybody that surrounds us in our company that does help us succeed in day-to-day stuff. But yeah, we don't have somebody we just turn to and be like, do this for me all day long. We're not that popular.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get an AI bot or something. I saw some advertisement of that yesterday. Have an AI assistant. I just, I mean, okay, that's maybe open up like a little bit. You have pretty strong feelings about that, the new AI stuff. You've been testing it out a lot.
I think that if you're not using it in some way in your business, you're going to get left behind. I think it's changing the world. I think it's a bigger deal than the internet was. It's just not quite there yet, but I think it's going to change the world. Yeah.
I haven't
not
done
necessarily
enough, looking into it to really, yeah. I haven't looked into it enough.
My new workflow is based on AI right now. I'm really leaning hard into it. I'm not sponsored by this. I'm using Aftershoot right now. If you haven't started using Aftershoot or heard of it, we've talked about this in the past. You're always looking for something that would crop for you. Guess what it does? It crops and straightens your images for you. And it does it real well. It doesn't for volume stuff. It doesn't pick up game faces real well yet, because it's still pretty early on. So it tries to keep all the smiles, but it definitely, man, it goes through and it'll pick out the blurry and the blinks and get rid of those immediately. So just that alone is such a huge time saver. I'd say it gets 85 to 90% where you want to be, which is a lot compared to what it used to take. And me, I'm all about speed on that back end. My workflow is a big deal to me so that I can get done with that project and move on to the next. And man, it's made the world a difference for me in the last couple of weeks, really leaning into it. It's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to using some of that. I'm familiar with Aftershoot, and then there's another one I have on my desktop. It's what is it called? Batch AI, I think is it? Batch AI, and then
I haven't even heard of that one.
Chris Garcia out in California, I think he has something he's working on. So there's a lot of AI stuff coming. So it'll be nice when it gets here and it can, color correct and crop our images for us. That would be amazing. And I think there's some workarounds for
Aftershoot's doing that. It's color correcting and cropping. I mean, it's there.
Are you using that for your volume or just for your wedding and like
I've been using it for everything, just to get the culling down. Because that's where you spend most of your time anyway, just adjusting those, fine tuning the lines and getting your lines straight and getting your horizontals flat and all this stuff. So and it does it real good.
Yeah. So. Well, I guess I need to step up my efforts there because we're like, that's the backlog. I mean, that's the backlog. We shoot. It's funny because they had we got rained out today. Well, we got rained out yesterday too. We just got soaked. We got halfway through a shoot. We did all the football. We had cheer to go, and it was just like it was showing no rain, and of course it just dumped on us. And we got a lot of rain. And I was like telling Karina, I was like, God, I feel like, we didn't get anything done this weekend because I had half a shoot done, but we had gotten a football youth program on Friday. We got in cheer on Saturday, another huge program on Saturday. One of our shoots worked on Sunday. We got half the shoot done of the one I did on Sunday. So we still got 5 shoots in. I just spent too much time worrying about the one half shoot that I didn't get. I feel like I didn't do anything.
Right.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. But we have all those photos to edit now. So we got rained out today. So it helps, I guess, a little bit because you can kind of, catch back up a little bit on the editing portion. But, the AI, once that starts and it can really depend on it, lean on it to edit and crop, that would be amazing. It'd be amazing.
It's doing it. And this is as worse as it's going to be, right? It's only going to get better. The other tool I've been using a lot just for touch up, especially for seniors and stuff, is that Retouch for me. Just doing the basic retouch quickly with it. It works best if you process your raws after you've culled, and then you put your little preset on it through Aftershoot. It crops, culls, does all the things, run it through Photoshop, just run an action for the healing, and then export that thing. And it is pure. It's clean. It's really nice. It takes a while, to do those steps. You're a couple hours in, but while that's happening, you can work on other stuff. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
It's doing it on its own.
A couple hours, yeah.
Not a big deal.
All right. Well, damn.
I shot a wedding Saturday, turned it Sunday. Done.
What's
fully
that? All right, so let's see. Tell me that again. You did a wedding and you're fully edited?
Did a wedding, yeah. Then fully edited, fully culled, fully delivered, and uploaded by Sunday. Done.
Sounds like you're gonna get back into weddings if it's gonna make it that much easier. Because isn't that the biggest part?
If I can keep the workflow going like that, absolutely. I mean, I've always had a little soft spot for weddings. It was how I got my foot in the door and started making real money in the industry. And I've already made the biggest mistakes you could shooting weddings. I've lost one before, and I felt horrible, and that was early on in my career, and I'll never make that mistake again. So the worst thing that could possibly happen that scares you the most already happened, and I lived through it. So, here we are to fight another day, and it's, years later, I've got a pretty good workflow going now. And if you can't take good photos at a wedding, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, it's a playground of emotion. It's a circus for photographers. You can't not get amazing emotion and amazing shots at a wedding. You just can't unless you just aren't paying any attention at all.
Right. Yeah. Something I just don't do. All right, let's see here.
I grabbed my phone so I could try to get on Facebook and see if I could see some comments here.
Somebody said they missed this. This is good.
Dude, I've gotten a lot of. I missed you. I mean, we were doing banners, senior banners for a high school here, and a dad came in that watches us. So, hello, Dad. I know who you are. You know who you are. But we're back, and I was kind of floored that somebody locally watched and actually took into account what we said and enjoyed our show. So that was pretty cool. But he was specifically asking where the heck we've been, because we've been gone a while.
Yes, we have been. Yeah, we had a lot of stuff going on. Was a lot.
It was a lot.
Including, Let's see. So I miss you too, but I don't know who that is. That's nice. Yeah, I had the same sort of situation where some random guy came up, a parent, and said that he's a fan and he watches our show.
We have fans. Let that sink in. You poor people. They got nothing better to do.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's nice. Let's see here. I guess I'm I'm not sure who did that, but yeah. So, what is Emily asking about banner workflow?
What one is she on?
Yeah, just how to edit banners quickly. Yeah, I don't edit banners.
That's Pixnub all day long, and learning Excel spreadsheets and text files and CSVs. That's the best workflow.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to once you get your own kind of template made, or if you go to Third Creative, and I use this a lot, where he has amazing templates and he does so good at finding fonts that look so great, and I am horrible at that too. The graphic design part, I'm not gonna lie, I'm the worst human for that. So when you can lean on people that make our lives easier in this industry, lean on them. Don Ward is the king at that stuff for me. And I love his fonts. Sometimes I'll just take his fonts, put them on a natural, shoot the natural stuff. We've been shooting Pro Light Mods like crazy, obviously, this fall because they're super popular and everybody
Right.
even they're asking for them. So,
Mm-hmm.
you shoot some cool images with those, go home, set up some fonts and a template with just the font on it and slap it on there through a CSV. It's so fast. I mean, you can do hundreds of them fast. And it's better that way if you can get the Excel spreadsheet from the coaches, from the roster, or just copy and paste. That way you don't misspell the names. I mean, I get so tired of that. I misspell names all the time. We just had one went from Johnny to John. They didn't want Johnny on there. It had to be John. But so you got to go and fix those. It's just the way it is.
So you just got to get a little techie with it, right? Because you're talking about Excel spreadsheets, and
if you want,
don't know how to do that, find somebody.
Yeah. And there's hundreds of videos to learn that stuff online, and that isn't necessarily all the best. I don't always learn the best from videos. Sometimes I need somebody to yell at me about it, but
yeah, we've been getting more and more banners, but our banners aren't like I think we did one in high school that had 29 seniors. That's the biggest one so far, but usually 10 or less. And Scott just does those in Photoshop and just kind of customizes all of them.
I'll tell you what, I don't know. This year we tried it a couple ways. I don't know that I'll let them pick their favorite picture anymore. That takes a little too long, and then it puts you up against the deadlines, and it starts, hurting your workflow that way. So if you can keep it to where you choose the banner and get them out and do it efficiently and effectively, that's the best way. Yeah,
that's we've been fighting that too, like letting the kids, pick the banner, because, oftentimes I will tether, using my little tether tools deal, and I'll take the Mac and I'll have it tethered so they can see it. And they'll be like, okay, this is, want to make sure that I at least have something that they want, what I mean? So far we've been good there. So far we had anybody like, oh, can you reshoot that? We haven't had that. So I did just do that last week with volleyball. I had, quite a few. I think we had a dozen or 11 volleyball people in the studio, and I shot tethered, and before they left, I made them run through the images and write down their image number. That worked really well. Yeah. But trying to upload all the images from the gallery into another gallery, have them pick, send you emails back or text messages or however they communicate, it just gets weird fast. So. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the communication there, and then next thing you know, the season's halfway done, and their banners are just now being hung up. Yeah. So we had a question about gray screen extracting coming. I mean, you don't really need any green screen at all. I mean, a lot of people use that remove.bg, right? Well, I mean, the photo extraction and photo day, I'm not going to lie, it's really good right now. But Pixnut's coming out with their new version 8 or whatever, and that's looking really nice. His new beta's out. That's looking good too. Yeah, we don't. So there's lots of different things. Yeah, I don't use green screen or anything. I just shoot on natural background. And I sell those photos too, so you can use those photos for extraction, and you can also use the photos for to sell on photo day. So it's that the small high school jobs that we have, I've been getting. I mean, I've been doing the Instagram thing, and I stopped for a long time. It's like just like beer in the boat. I just stopped doing everything, and I stopped, and I just picked it back up, and we're just getting so many. Everybody's like, you need to be making money on, and I just don't know how to make the money on Instagram. I just don't know how. I know that there's probably a way to do it, and somebody was talking to me. I need to put some sort of like call to action, and I'm like, I don't have time right now. I know that, but it's been getting me jobs. We've been getting a lot of volleyball, basketball, like just every day we're getting another high school, and it might be they have 5 seniors, but I go and I'll get to shoot the whole program, and I'll sell the 5 banners, and that kind of makes my money, and then we sell another $500 to $1,000 worth of photos, so it makes it a nice afternoon. Absolutely. For a few hours worth of work. Yeah. And if you get a good workflow on the back end, it's not, if once you get that dialed, it's fairly easy, and you can make a living doing that for sure. Yeah. And I'm excited about it just because, at least the Instagram thing is like, since it went viral, whatever, at least I'm getting, I am monetizing it. It might not be like through Instagram, but I'm getting customers from which I can go out and shoot. So that works. That makes it to where, okay, I'll keep doing this if it, but it's kind of funny. It's funny, like the comments that you get, and people actually think I lie. They think that I Like legit, every time I do a video, they think that I preload. I take a photo, edit it, preload it, take the photo, and then show the photo, like the photo that pops up. Like I don't even know how you coordinate all that. And then I manufacture all the reactions. Like it's the most ridiculous thing that people
like you have time for that, right?
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
Brad Deal must get it too, because he's real good. I noticed on his lately where he takes a shot and then he goes straight to his iPad instantly with his phone to try to show, look, no, this is what it really looks like live. So
yeah, and it's like it's every day. Hey, do you know? I'm sure you know. Yes, I know who they are. I got it.
Oh yeah, and Jason at Rocktown Media. Like I'm even getting yours now here on the West Coast. People are showing me your stuff, and I'm like, good. Yeah, I know at least one of the three guys.
That's so funny.
Let's talk about that though. Like it makes it tough, right? Because it's hard to stay creative and stay true to yourself when there's one thing for taking inspiration for people. 100% copying is a different thing, but when things are selling and things are working, you kind of got to be able to do it. But I don't know that people understand how much work some of that takes. Doing it for a couple high schools and doing it for a small league is one thing, but when you start doing bigger volume, you need a lot of spray cans.
Yeah.
There's got to be a limit. There's got to be a cutoff to that somewhere.
Okay, we had to check out. Listen to what Dan does. Isn't that crazy? Do you read that?
Pick the pose on picture day. I use the voice over the camera. Yeah.
He talking about having a backup. Like,
I
got you. Yeah. That's great. That's great. Rashad's actually in Atlanta. He wasn't able to come out to my shoot. Good thing he didn't come to the shoot yesterday because we got stormed on, so it was pretty bad.
His latest stuff where he's using that AI background to make his backgrounds. That stuff was fire, man. That stuff was so good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I mean, that's another example.
Out there. He's gonna have to.
Yeah. The guys out there making templates with AI now. Putting a kink in probably some of those other template makers' armor there, but some of that stuff's real good when it's done real well. It's pretty cool to see. So
I mean, it's something I guess I definitely am concerned about. Hopefully people will still like the whole pageantry of picture day, I mean,
we got to keep bringing that. You got to keep the magic alive somehow. I mean, I was reading a thing today in a forum where they were talking about, a lot of high schools are just trying to get the photos because they know they can cut them off a regular picture too, especially if you've got good edge lighting and your lighting's well. They want the photos, and then they're cutting them out in their digital media classes and yearbook classes and making their own game day banners and doing their own stuff. And, if you're not able to give them that stuff or get paid for that work, they're not going to hire you. It's starting to get kind of crazy out there because it's getting, the tools are making life a little easier to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
So we are already professionals. And I think if we know how to use that stuff better than them and faster, that's what's going to keep us in business.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It makes us superheroes when you're good at it. It makes them good at it. And then it makes us amazing. So
yeah, I don't know how long we have. Hopefully we've got a few more years, but
I'm sure we do.
Doing the volume thing. I mean, parents ask about, can we do the smoke? Can we do this, that, and the other. I usually just kind of reserve that for, seniors. I'm not going to do this for a whole league. I've done it for a whole league, and it worked pretty well, but that's a difficult thing to pull off. I mean, I'm not opposed to it if the sales are going to be really good, of course,
Right.
But
I did it for a whole basketball league. Didn't sell hardly anything. Like wasted a lot of time and effort making awesome photos and it didn't sell very well.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that.
Is that what the problem is? Basketball.
I mean, who knows? But you got to be careful with that because you'll have one person who really wants it, but it's not something that maybe not everybody's just one person who's a decision maker. Like, oh, everybody's gonna love this, and you spend a lot of money, a lot of time getting everything set up, and it's not going to be worth it. So you have to be careful with what you do when it comes to something like that. If you have to be able to,
it's fun making awesome pictures though in camera. Man, it's fun. It's my favorite.
Oh yeah, like in the reaction videos that I do on Instagram. I mean, I do it all the time. Like every shoot, have something. I have my phone connected to my camera or something, so I could either show the kids and get them excited, or show moms, whatever it is, because it's fun. Like you have that little bit of keeps you motivated at the shoot to take great photos. If you can show your images to somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that doesn't really look like that should look that way. This looks better than real life, Yeah. So that's the fun part about it. But yeah, there's definitely a distinction between that and doing like league photos, and like where you have to kind of educate your customers. Like, okay, that is for a specific thing. We need lots of time. If you want to do that whole thing, make sure you have time. We have space, all that stuff. This is not for a 500 kid league. We just can't do it. The number,
right.
I mean?
But they don't know that when they see those reels. They think that somebody's doing that. They see Rocktown and Brad and your stuff, and they're, they think you're doing it for hundreds of kids at a pop, when they're doing it, a lot of times in the evening for just a smaller group, or have lots of time to do those posed action. Right. That some of those poses just don't work for everybody, so you'll end up trying for way longer than you really probably should to try to get a shot that's really not going to be much better than the first one you took. So yeah. You got to educate. You got to let them know, what the reality of that is, because the end result looks amazing on certain people, and sometimes you nail them, but some of those shots are, you got to be pretty lucky to get it perfect. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough. You could probably get that new Broncolor that John Scott was just talking about, that just come out $17,000 for the pack.
Yeah,
you could probably put that and put the electronic shutter on and just like go to town and get the image, but it's just like, still, are they going to make a good facial expression? Are they going to jump right? Is their technique going to be right? But there's a lot of stuff that's involved in that posed action.
Prime example is the one with the volleyball girls in a chair, right? And then you throw, 7 volleyballs behind them. How often does that look perfect?
Right.
How many times you try, and that's one of the easiest ones, and you hardly ever get it right.
Yeah.
Get 1 or 2 balls and they're not really in the right spot. One's behind the head. Even that pose alone is tough. So,
I mean, I would argue that a really well posed, well lit photo with a great expression is just as good as an action photo. They're just different. You know what I mean? I mean, the action photo is cool, but you can really make a kid look really cool, just a great pose and some good lighting. You can make them look larger than life, make them look like that's not that, that's the same kid. Like, I just did an Instagram reel and the mom was like, that's my kid. She didn't even recognize her own child. That was just right there, because you couldn't believe the way,
because the pose was styled and the lighting was dialed.
Right.
Yeah.
If you get the eyes right, you get the head tilt right, you get the posture correct. And, all that, like when you're going through just a still photo, like there's a lot to it, there's a lot to like the angles in which you shoot, and the way that, the athletes carrying themselves, and the look in their eyes, and their smirk or their game face or their smile. There's so many little details. And with post action, you really can't do any of that. You just hope that it's going to look good and their face doesn't look crazy.
Yeah.
When you take the photo.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, but I know the one thing I know from my perspective is I can get 10 pose shots before I can get 1 post action shot. So
yeah,
so
you're 10 to 1 on the odds of the sale, right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't think anybody's ever said that out loud, but that's true. That's 100% true.
Say that one more time. What'd you say?
Oh, I said, I don't think anyone's ever said that out loud and meant it, but it's true. But just doing a nice, clean, super well lit, super nice pose and getting 10 shots to the 1 cool action shot, your sales are going to be better. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a numbers game, right? And the thing is when we used to shoot action photography, we did really good in baseball because we didn't do any team and individuals back then. We just did baseball, right? And so we got it down to, we were very specific with what we did, because it was like, okay, 6, 7, and 8-year-old baseball is all coach pitch, those games, and it was all stars. So 6-year-old game would last about hour 15, 7-year-old game lasts about an hour. The 8-year-old games would last like 45 minutes because the kids were so good. Like they were really good at 8 years old. I mean, the innings just flew by, right? But everybody hit, everybody ran, almost everybody participated in the field. It was just a really intense, high action game. So you got lots of photos, you know, and then you have to think that if there's 4 games going on the diamond, and every one of those kids is a potential customer because everybody hit, right? Everybody hit. So in one game, you have 11 kids on each team. So you have 22 potential customers on every game because it's coach pitch. Then you go over to kid pitch, and you know, the numbers go way down. The games are an hour and 45 minutes. Not every kid hits. You know, outfield is boring. Like it's just, it slows everything way down. So in a game that it lasts an hour and 45 minutes, so it's twice as long. And then you might only have 10 potential customers. So it's just like a numbers game, just straight up numbers game. We made way more money because little guys, everybody's a customer, and the game, the turnover is every hour and a half. We're shooting a new game.
Yeah.
So it just we just dialed that in, and that's how we were successful. It's kind of the same way here. You know, I mean, post action is good, but you have a limited amount of time. You know, if we're working, you have to think that we're working when kids are in school, right? So there's basically 3 hours during the week that, you know, Monday through Friday. So that's 15 hours, and you could have, you know, 7-8 hours on Saturdays and Sundays. So you're talking about you only have 30 to 40 hours to shoot, right?
For the whole week.
For the whole week, if you're shooting kids athletics. So post action just takes more time. Where, you know, if you have you know, just straight leagues, you know, you can get more kids in. So it's just a numbers game. It's not necessarily, you know, you make more money per kid with the post action, of course. But if I can get more kids in on the shoot, then, you know, that's probably going to be a little bit better. But at the same time, it's good to do both, right? You have to do some of that post action to show your customers what you're capable of.
Absolutely.
You know, and then the other stuff will follow.
Yeah. It's true.
Interesting.
That's volume. That's the volume world in a nutshell. Just
yeah.
Not easy.
Yeah. Do action until you get your T&I stuff dialed in. I think we did action, and then we did post. We did a lot of post action after that because I didn't get a lot of leagues straight out the gate because there was 3 or 4 big photographers in Atlanta, and they had the market just, you know, cinched up. So I had to do action. Then I started doing the post action stuff, you know, and end up or just post. Either way, just dramatic lighting, I would say.
Yeah,
you know. And then finally, there are people like, oh, do you think you can kind of do this and you know, for the league? And you know, of course, you had to tone it down, and then it started. So that's kind of like almost every photographer that I know that's doing this with us started with action photography.
Yeah, I mean, I started taking pictures of my kids in the gym playing volleyball. Volleyball's not easy to shoot action. You got to kind of know. You got to know the game and know the team that you're shooting and know what their tendencies are to get good shots. Mm-hmm. Because a ball can get ripped off the net, you know, by a middle or by an outside hitter, and you got to kind of already know where she's going to slam that ball along before you know that's happening because it happens fast, you know. So. Or know where those middle blockers are going to be and have your stuff set and it's really hard to autofocus that even in today's age because it'll focus, you know, getting focus on the net and all the stuff, you know, you're missing focus all the time. So you kind of have pre-set up angles, you know, at that kind of sport. Whereas basketball, you know, if you're sitting on the end line or whatever, you kind of know, you know the shot you're looking for on those layups, right-handers or left-handers. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty easy to catch a guy with a jumper, you know, so, but volleyball's
we were always shooting strobes. So, you know, half the time coach would get pissed at us because we were shooting strobes, but you know, photos look good.
They look real good. Yeah.
They look real good. All right. Yeah. We had this one school where we have to shoot, post action. Like we shoot the seniors and they just want it. Like we used to have to go to their games. And we're like, okay, we're done going to games because we have to go like the 6 games to get everybody in, you know, and some kids don't play and on and on. So we're like, look, on picture day, we're just going to do post action. And it works out fine because they just cut them out and put them on banners. So what does it really matter? You know, and it looks so much more clear, you know, during the day than it does, you know, on game night. And I had this Canon R3, you know, and I haven't shot action with it yet. And so we used it the other day and I was like, holy shit, this thing is amazing. It was insane. It was shooting like 20 something frames per second. You know, the autofocus nailed it. We were outside, nailed it every time. It was so easy. We just went through the players just like that because it's unbelievable how good the autofocus is on these mirrorless cameras. It's just crazy.
if you're still rocking a DSLR, you are left behind already. Like, you need to get your act together. Those mirrorlesses with the autofocus nowadays is stupid good. It just makes you a better photographer. It just does.
Well, I think I don't know who I said this to the other day, or maybe I was going to and I didn't, but it's like I think that mirrorless cameras are probably the best thing that's ever happened. Mirrorless cameras and photo day are the best things that happen to volume photographers.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, because the combination of the two, I mean, because the mirrorless camera with paper order forms was good because you had the good image stabilization. You could see the photo in the viewfinder. You know, but they still weren't quite there yet. But then now they've evolved, and now you can shoot all these photos really fast with different angles and really low to the ground, and all the parents get to see them all because it didn't really matter that much, you know, with DSLR and paper order forms, as long as you took 3 photos before you looked at the back of the camera, right? And as long as you got one good, then they're done.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to shoot 5 good photos of a kid really fast with a DSLR, it's kind of impossible because number one, you're going to miss more shots. And then let's say if you want to get 5 photos, you got to take the 5 photos, different angles, and you got to go back and look at it, make sure you got it. And if you didn't get it, you go back. Like, it just doesn't work. Like,
right.
But are people still using DSLRs?
I think so. I see it in the groups all the time. It's mind blowing. Mind blowing.
Yeah, I saw somebody still shooting with Alien Bees the other day, and I'm like, oh Lord, I don't miss that. I don't miss that.
I was just looking at, I went through all my stuff getting in the studio, and I've got, you know, half a dozen Pocket Wizards. The heck am I gonna do with those anymore? Like, I remember using and using Pro Photos and Pocket Wizards, and then mixing in some Luma Pro flashes, and then mixing in maybe a Westcott flash too with everything, because I just had different flashes back in the day, and making sure they were all, you know, on slave, and trying to use a Pocket Wizard on the main light to make sure it always went off no matter what. And I remember thinking back then, I can't wait for somebody to come out with a product where everything talks to everything with one trigger.
Right.
And that was Godox and Flashpoint that did it first. Yeah. I mean, Photex was so close. They almost did it first, and then they just went away or something. I don't know what happened to that, but they were real close. They were real, because they had the flash and the mono light that was talking to each other, and it's brilliant to put, you know, a flash on your camera and use that as your trigger, and a fill light. Sometimes that's a great look, especially if you're running and gunning at a wedding or seniors.
Right.
You know, it's a pretty
That'd
amazing
be tough to do outside though, right?
No, you just, you know, you can set all that stuff up on TTL and get pretty close, and just run and gun and let everything do the work for you, especially with the new autofocus with mirrorless cameras, and do it using spot meter with it, and it hitting the eyes perfectly every time. It's just it's more consistent, and running TTL on your flashes when you're doing that and running and gunning, you can adjust, you know, your under and over exposures on those, you know, so it's reading what you want it to look like depending on, you know, what you're
That's
seeing.
the wedding stuff though. Yeah.
If I use it for seniors sometimes too. I learned that technique from another guy, but he's the king at that. He's really good at it. So that's Adrian Henson out there in North Carolina.
Do you remember all the SB 800s, 600s, all the?
I had a couple 700s and a couple 900s, SB 900s. You know, I still never understood the CLS system in that. You know, the Nikon flash. I never did get that perfect. There was always something
that was expensive too. That's expensive.
Yeah, those flashes were not cheap. They were $600, $700.
Yeah. I mean, how much? I mean, I don't even know. Like, okay, so it's Westcott and Godox pretty much now. And what
I think so. Right? Yeah. And the only problem with Westcott is they don't have a 1200 watt light outside yet.
Yeah, they got 400. I think they're working on something that's going to go a little bit more watts, but they have to. If they come up with 800. 1,000-watt light, something.
I've been using the Flashpoint and Godox 300 watts for my portraits for my volume schools this year, and it's so nice to walk in with one Pelican case with all my stuff in it and just throw it up.
Oh, because they're tiny.
Because of the size, and they're so powerful. And if it does the same thing my 600s were doing, they last all day too. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's a great product. It's like I so don't want to, want it to be great, but it's like it's the best solution right now.
I mean, you don't get the consistency and the color off the flashes and the pops, but it's close enough for volume.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I got 2 transmitters. I had course. I mean, I'm sitting there yesterday and I'm holding the tent down because the football league where they had 3 tents with their logos and all on them, and I was like, man, I bet those are expensive. They are when you have the tops and all. So I'm sitting there holding one of their tents, and my tent is like looking a little sketchy, and I'm like, I'm gonna go over there and grab
the guy in the van down by the river.
As soon as I said that, I take a step out because it's just pouring down rain. My tent lifts up and it floats away. It goes away, and the leg of it hits my camera. And I had an R6 with the 24-70 to 2.8, the expensive lens. Just the tripod just falls and hits the ground. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick up my camera. I'm like, wait.
Do you want to look at it?
Well, I know it, but the thing is, like, wait, if that tent hits a car, that's going to probably be more expensive. So let me go get the tent first. So I had to go run out, chase the tent from blowing into the parking lot and ruining a bunch of cars.
Oh my God.
Was a mess. Yeah, that was the worst, I guess, thing. I've lost 2 tents this season. I lost another tent in a thunderstorm, and a lightning bolt hit the water tower like behind us on the field. That was pretty scary. That was a rough one too. So it's been a little bit. It hadn't been as bad as it was a couple of years ago, but we've had some crazy weather here and hot.
Wild.
Ooh, it's been hot.
We've been warm too. We need rain. We don't have any rain. It has not been raining on us here. It's been one of the best summers I can ever remember as far as nice weather.
When does it start getting cold?
Right about now. We had one drop down into the 50s, at night about a week ago, and that was the first taste of fall's coming. So.
All right, let's see. We've got some Normans. Woo! Those are some old lights, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, Normans, but they're going to last forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like the alien beads, like if I was inside, I had power, then yeah, 100%. Because you don't have to adjust the lighting and all. It's just outdoors was what's killing me. Just killing me. Let's see.
Because they didn't have batteries on them.
Yeah. Those are awesome.
I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I mean, those Einsteins are still amazing, but
fantastic.
Especially for studio work, but having to hook up the generators, bring more stuff with you, or even, the battery pack. So I mean, I suppose people are probably using, the new solar powered battery pack, that you just charge up at night. You probably don't even use fuel anymore, right? With those 1,000 watt, you have one. You charge your batteries at your job site with it now instead of a Honda generator, right? So,
yeah, I do. I've had to bring the Honda out a few times because we've had to use porta-cools.
Yeah,
because it's been so hot. So we've had porta-cools, and we usually carry a generator and some long extension cord for that. And so we use porta-cools, and I drink the salt all day. I have those little packets of salt, LMNT, and I drink those all day. And heat doesn't bother me too much, fortunately. But, I have, we've had a few people almost pass out. And you can see it when the kids, they walk up and they're white as a sheet. You're like,
their eyes were just dazed and they're just standing there looking off. Yeah,
you need to sit down. We had the closest call. I think one day it was really bad. We had a teen mom almost pass out, but I saw it beforehand, so we got her in front of the porta-cool and gave her water and the whole thing. And then, I had a kid throw up.
Right, no joke. It kills people. You got to be careful. And once you get it's easier to get from then on. So
that's terrible.
Yeah,
we've been pretty lucky. Everybody's been able to handle it. It's just the turf. The turf is just rough. When you get that turf out there and that sun's beating down on you, especially if you're shooting right into the sun, so it's in your face, it can get a little rough, But I hope we're past the worst part, and then we're going to be, cooling off here a little bit. But it's been hot. Let's see here. Haven't used my tent yet, and I can't wait to stop using it. I had to buy 7 of them the other day. We had a league of 1,500 kids in a day, football and cheer. So
I saw that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How did you guys live through that?
Yeah, we got a thunderstorm. We missed the last few teams, but before that, the shoot went awesome. It was great. We had 5 photographers, 5 individual lines, and we had 2 team photo areas, and they gave us 2 football fields. We had 2 whole football fields to use.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Were you
so
shooting from
awesome.
the 50 both ways or what?
I think towards the end zone for one, and then we had third field reserved too. So it was awesome. We had as much space as we needed. But the main little shooting area, we had the whole football field, and the photos just looked beautiful. So it was, man, it was so nice because it was like my whole county was. It's like all the kids. We had the big basketball league here, we had the big football league here. So we want to make sure that we put it on a good, we have a good photo shoot for because everybody lives around me. Then you start seeing all the photos pop up on Facebook. I'm like, damn, that looks good. Just makes you so happy. They've had a lot of bad photos over the last few years, so to be able to come in there and do a good job was really rewarding. But 1,500 was a beast. That was tough. But we had so many photographers. We had 5 photographers. I have never shot with that many individual photographers before, so that was really cool. Can you imagine having 5 working for you, where you can just sit back and kind of watch it?
I want one. I'm working on one. I'm trying to get one more.
Yeah.
It's
awesome. Nice. Yeah, it's nice. We got a lot of. I think this is probably the best staff we've ever had right now. Like, we've been in business for 15 years. You have people come and go. But right now I feel like we have a really fantastic staff. We have a lot of young kids. I'm a little worried about it because we have a lot of kids that are really good and they're seniors. So
they're gonna leave you.
Yeah, they're gonna be leaving me. So I'm pretty sad about that. But I just need them to recruit some other kids for me. Get them to recruit some juniors. Like, you cannot leave until you recruit at least one good person to take your spot.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, 2 cheerleaders. Yeah. That's rough. Yeah. You don't want the ambulance showing up at your shoots for sure.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah.
Luckily we don't get that hot here. Like we had a few days in a row there where it was over 90. I think one day got up into 100, but it was only literally for 2 or 3 days. And nobody has AC here because it never does it. So when it gets that hot, it beats us up.
Yeah, it's been 100 degrees, and I was looked up on the internet the other day. I'm like, how hot is turf compared to the ambient? And it's 40 to 70 degrees hotter on the surface of that field.
That's too much. No way.
Yeah. Well, I saw somebody in one of the volume groups that it maxed out their little thermometer. It was like 170 degrees on the field.
Jeez.
That's insane.
Might as well live on Mars. Might as well just move to Mars.
I have to take 5 shirts. I take 5 shirts.
It's ridiculous. Not enough. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, it's awful. And the worst thing is you leave one of those shirts in your car overnight on accident. Like, no.
It smells like the old locker room, huh? The old boys' locker room.
Yeah, it's so bad. Yeah. Yeah. So it's, but hopefully it's over. Hopefully it's over and we're good. So we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, this fall's gonna be fun. We got some cool stuff coming. We got a good year planned ahead so far. A good fall anyway.
And what's the deal with you're telling me a little about the Fuji that's coming out that you're excited about?
How do you know I even know about it? What if I was too busy to know?
Because you told me about it.
Oh, it's the new medium format Fuji. There's rumors going around. It's coming out. It's going to be awesome.
And then what is it like? Going to be huge files? Like, is it just like senior stuff, or it's not a volume camera?
I don't know. We'll see. I think about the only thing they can make better is that autofocus, but their lenses are they're relying on their lenses in that system to autofocus is what the problem is. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's just the file size that gets me tripped up. Like, I don't need such a big file size.
It's hard. You can't really, you could, but it'd get expensive. It'd get expensive if you're using it for volume, but
oh my gosh,
the colors that come out of that and the file that comes out of that thing it's crazy to look at side by side. It's just no comparison to anything else. Nothing else.
I agree. You'd have to have a whole tech department to handle all the files because you have to delete stuff. There's no way you can hold on to those raw files.
Well, what do you need them for once you edited it anyway? Do you really need them anyway? No. Once you turn them into JPEGs? No.
No, you don't. It's nice to go back every once in a while and look at a raw photo, but
I look at all my stuff that starts filling up and I'm like, I don't need all these raw photos anymore. I really don't need them. I've turned them all into JPEG. I've uploaded the jobs. These are done. I've got them on the cloud too. So what am I doing? I don't need them.
Yeah, my server is just maxed out today. So I'm having to go. Yeah, it's such a pain. So I got to go.
You got to go spend $4,000 and buy a new one.
No, I actually have another 20 terabyte drive. So I just put that in today, but it takes a week for that thing to get up and going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're backing up the old one back onto it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you just put it in there, you slide your, I have a Synology, and I have I have 9 bays, I think. And
I have 7. I have 5 bay and a 2 bay is what I run.
Yeah. I think I have a 5 and I don't know how many I got. Maybe I don't know.
5 and a 4 or something.
Yeah, something like that. But I've got all of them are full, and I went and put the other one in, but it could take like a week for that thing to format or whatever it is that it does. It's just running and it takes forever. So I thought that you could just plug it in and it would start working. Doesn't work like that.
Not with the NOS. Not with the NOS decks. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to go through and just delete. If I delete raw files, then I can clear up some space, But
yeah, I usually run through my first ones to go are my real estate raw photos. I dump those fast. I get rid of those fast again because they take up a lot of space, especially when you're shooting 10 images for, one room sometimes.
Well, Photo Day, I guess we have them all backed up there too, right?
Yeah, but can you? Yeah, I suppose you could. Well, can you you can't download them off Photo Day though, unless you're in a private gallery.
I don't know what that is. Oh, the Icy Breeze. Oh yeah, I saw that. It's a cooler that has the little. Yeah, I've seen those.
I haven't seen those.
I don't know who posted this because it doesn't. It just says Facebook user on that. But I would be really curious how they like this.
Why does Corey Smith think I'm from Canada? Because it never gets warm.
So I think Ryobi has there's some other little guys too that you can get just for just to set in your tent, little misters. Yeah,
I'll never need them.
Oh apparently I'd be interested.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Julie said they told me they're not a storage cloud. Yeah, that's probably that. She said Photo Day said they're not a storage cloud. Yeah, it's probably
they're not. That's a different business model for sure.
Yeah.
They have the button on though that says download, and you can never use it. You just beat that dead button sometimes.
Yeah. That'd probably get really expensive if they were
someday. In the future, hopefully, we'll be able to give maybe coaches or somebody a link to where they can hit the download button and download their OSAA pictures.
Hey, we're not, this is Photo Day staff doesn't need to be, we're just trying to cheat the system a little bit,
Yeah,
Dan,
we just want, you made our lives easy. We want it a little easier. That's it.
Yeah.
We're not asking for the world.
Yeah. We're just, we know we're not abusing the system. We're still selling the photos.
Yeah.
That's funny. He's like that.
I think they've already run into that where there was companies that were just using it for storage.
I think that you can use it for facial recognition or something. Yeah. And they had to put it next, they're automatically, they just, all right. They're somebody listen to Beer in the Boat. Make sure those dumbasses aren't saying anything that is not included in company policy.
They made us sign NDAs for stuff now, though, didn't they? Didn't we sign one for something? I don't remember.
I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
Let's see. 2 icy. Okay, I'm interested to see how those Icy Breezes work. Yeah. SmugMug for storage. Man, remember having a SmugMug account?
Yeah, I lost a dance studio 13 years ago because I used it for a dance studio, and they got rid of me because I was selling pictures online. They never used me again. I was trying 13 years ago to do it. And they're like, no, it doesn't work. Get out of you'll never shoot here again. I was like, what?
That is crazy. Yeah. We had, talking about storage, we got a letter in the mail from Square, and it said Square, they're called Box or something like that, Square. And it said, you have money in account, and if you don't claim the money, it's going to go back to the state of Georgia. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I was like, Cranny, you got to check on this. And she checked on it. And what had happened, when we set up Square as employees, we use Square to pay our staff, And so they sign up for shifts and everything using Square. So we set up 2 locations or something. I forget why we did it. I don't even remember. But apparently we had
money laundering.
But yeah, so apparently some of those jobs went over to another location. So we had, and that location didn't have a checking account tied to it. So when customers were placing order, it was going into this little account over there. And they sent us a letter, and it was 17 grand. 17 grand sitting in an account.
How
no
much
idea.
money do you make when you just lose 17 grand?
It was years ago. It wasn't even like, I don't know how long it's been sitting there. I don't know like what jobs went in there or anything. And we had to like, Karina was on the phone with them for probably 5 hours, just like, you sent us this letter. And I was like, it's $17,000. We better figure out like they sent us letters, not like we were asking them for it. And they're getting ready to give the money to the state. So let's figure it out. So we ended up, that's what had happened. Like the money wasn't tied to account. I have no idea how we missed it. I think it was because I don't think it was one job. I think it was like several jobs. It was just like a little bit at a time was going into that account. But that was a nice find.
That's a huge find. Yeah.
Yeah. That was fantastic. Seasideology Nas, Glacier for back. Oh, is that AWS? That's Amazon, right?
Yeah. So Amazon Prime, is that what he's talking about? Yeah. So they take raw files. So you just link those two things and it does it overnight. Well, that again, once you do it the first time, it takes a month to get them all up there, but definitely it's free if you're a Prime member.
Interesting.
What'd that person say? I look like a Viking?
Yeah. Yeah. Remember I saw your photo and
I am a Viking.
In Reykjavik.
I really am a Viking. That's where I'm from.
You need to go there.
I need a
Iceland was
rowboat.
amazing.
I want to go. I won't even get cold.
Yeah, that place. Oh, that was one of the reasons we were gone for 21 days, I think, for vacation.
I was jealous every day you posted a photo. Every single day.
That was a trip of a lifetime. I can't
And
wait
what camera did you use? You used a Fuji, didn't you?
Fuji. Yep. Yeah. Did a Fuji. Yeah, it was awesome. That's what I have right now. I have a Fuji. Yeah, I love this little camera. Got it from John Scott. John Scott Roberts. Yep. All right, I'm going to bed. I got to get up early.
Why? What time is it?
It's almost 9 o'clock.
It's still daylight here.
I have a child again.
What?
All the kids moved out, and then I have my exchange student Hawan, and so I have to take him to school.
He's not a child. He's a mega beast.
Yeah, he's crazy. For those of you who don't know Hawan, I guess it's been a long time. I have an exchange student from Brazil, and he's 7'1". He's giant. He's absolute giant. So I have to take him to school in the morning. So I'm back in the damn carpool thing. And last year they let him go to school like 3 days a week, and now they're making him go all 5 days. And it's
he should go all 5 days if he's in school. If he's school aged, he should go all 5 days.
No kids, seniors do not go to school 5 days a week here. They do not. I have one kid that works for me. He's a senior. He doesn't even step into school. And I got several that go like 3 days a week. They have this work release thing going on. And oh my gosh, there was what was it? In the county south of me, there was like a mental wellness day or some shit they got.
I need more of those.
Yeah.
Especially after. Did you see me get blasted by the PS? Did you see me get hammered on the Pro Light Mod user group for posting like a bad photo one day? I don't ever want to post again. I got attacked.
What made you reminded you of that?
I was meaning to bring it up.
Got attacked? Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like somebody just said, maybe you should move a light and you're attacked.
I take that shit personal.
I know we all do. Yeah, it's been kind of calm. It's been good. It's been real peaceful in all the chats, I think. So it's been good.
All right. Well, we need to stir the pot. We got to get it rolling again.
I'm not. No.
What can we talk about that we can start another problem?
Oh, there's several things, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Maybe give us a couple shows to get back in it before we start.
All right.
Dropping. We got to get Quant's back on, John Scott Roberts on before we start pissing everybody off.
Maybe they don't want on if we're going to piss everyone off.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's good to be back. I'm glad we're back, though. I'm sorry it took so long for us to get our shit in order this summer, but we're back.
Yeah. So hopefully next week we'll do it again.
I'm in. Just tell me when.
All
right. Good to see everybody again. Sorry we took so long. Yeah. Good to see your face.
See y'all next time.
All right. Later.